Hi guys, so in this video we're going to show you how to change the resin, what the resin looks like. This is the mixed bed resin. This is a DI tank. And we're going to show you maybe later on also how to use the pure water to wash down windows. So first of all you need a tank. This is about a 10 litre tank. You can get them smaller or you can get them bigger. The top, so obviously the water comes in here, connects to your source, comes through the pipe. This here is a pre-filter. It gets rid of, I think, the chloride in the water. It's a carbon filter, and then goes through, and this is where the mixed bed resin is. You don't need this oftentimes, but it just gives a, I think, gives a better finish. So we'll change out the resin. We'll show you how to do that. So this thing is to get the top off. They usually just screw on and screw off. So you'll find these tanks, you can buy them. They're pretty expensive in some countries like New Zealand, so you can pick them up. So here we go, this is where the water comes through. So it comes through, filters in here, and comes, this is like a filter cap, and the water gets pushed, the pressure of the water comes back up again and out here. So it's gone through the resin, back in through the filter cap. The filter cap prevents the resin beads, I'll show you what they look like, from actually exiting the tank. You don't want that on the window or car. So we're just going to tip the water out first. So now we're going to remove the resin. You can see what the resin looks like. This is used resin, you can see it there. It's like a sludge. We'll show you what the fresh resin looks like. But you can see it's all coming out pretty easy. You just give it a bit of a shake, and that's what resin looks like, and that just sits in your tank, and that's what does all the work. Now some resin can be regenerated. I don't regenerate this one. It's cheap enough just to buy it and put it in the tank. And being a mixed bed resin, it's a bit more difficult to regenerate because you've got to separate the two ions, the cations and the anions resin part. So I can't really talk a lot about that because I've never done it, but just saying so you know, it can be regenerated. I've got a couple of different brands of resin in this tank. That's why the different colour, and the reason for that is that I used to have a system. Some of my resin that I bought wasn't quite as good as I'd liked. I didn't get it down to 0 parts per million. The resin I have now does, so you only have to put one resin in the tank. But I'll show you what I used to do when I had a poorer grade resin to make it work better. So this is the used resin, so we're going to throw that away, and we're going to show you how to fill up a tank with some new resin. So you buy the resin. These ones are 5 litre bags, or you can buy them in the 25 litre bags. So what you do, if your resin is not so good, let's say it doesn't bring the water down to 0 parts per million, some of the older resin that I used to have could only bring it down to about 10 to 15 parts. So what I'd do is I'd get a higher grade resin, that's a good quality resin, and I'd put a couple of litres of it in first. If this is a 5 litre bag, I'd just put half of that bag in at the bottom, and then I'd fill up the rest of the tank with the poorer grade resin. And that way the poorer grade resin would work on the water first, it'd bring it down to about 10 parts, and the high grade resin at the bottom would just polish it down to 0. Don't have to do that now because all my resin is high grade resin, high quality resin. It all brings it down to 0. So this is how you put into the tank. This is really handy. This here, you can pick them up fairly cheaply, about $30, $40 for that, and that's really handy to get your resin into the tank. You just pour it in, open the bag, and then just pour it in like that. And what you have to do sometimes is just shake it around a bit like that. This actually has a hole in the top, and the whole idea of that there is that you can take out this pole here, you can plant it in there first, you can sit this on top, and then what it means is that filter part there is already in, and then you can push it on top, this part here on top, once it's all filled up, and screw it on. But I don't do that because this here's been glued on. These two are glued together, so I can't do that. So I just have to do it this way. I'll show you how to do it. And then just, I'll show you how to put that part in, doing it this way. So you just fill up the tank. This is a 10 litre tank, so it'll take maybe almost a couple of bags of 5 litres. That looks pretty much full. You could put a bit more in there, but I think I'll leave it like that for now. That will be enough, so it'll be easier for me to get this cap back on as well. So what you want to do, guys, is when you want to put this back in, it's not so bad if it's not too full with the tank. It really makes it important when your tank gets bigger and bigger. It gets really hard to put these into the resin, and the easy way to do it is to take a hose, some water, and turn on the tap there. You just add a bit of water into the mix here. That will loosen it all up and make it easy to push the filter down into it. You want to get it right down to the bottom. So you fill up as much water as you can. This loosens it all up, makes it easy to push this top back on. Make sure you clean to the top there, because those little bits and pieces will stop it from screwing on properly. So now that should be easier to push in. Just like that. It goes in nice and easy. And then you just got to screw it on. Make sure you don't cross thread it. So you screw it on tight, and that's it. Ready to go.